Hey party people. This video, we're going to pit 4 different brands, cheaper brands of color pencils up against each other in a blending, line work, gradient, creating, burnishing, swatching, testing, extravaganza competition. Contestant number 1 is Crayola, tried and true brand, a favorite with lots of people looking for cheaper alternatives to Faber-Castell Polychromos or Caran d'Ache Luminance. Like, those two are, you know, professional quality, amazing quality. Two brands I recommend, 2 brands that are so freaking expensive it hurts my teeth. You know, I think pretty much everyone's heard of Crayola, right? All right, contestant number 1. Contestant number 2 is Sargent Art. I think also a fairly common brand in the kind of, I think these are typically more expensive than Crayola or Prang, but definitely nowhere near as expensive as the Polychromos or the Caran d'Ache. And then we have contestant number 3, which is the Marco Fine Arts Raffine. We're gonna go with Raffine. Y'all know I'm terrible at pronouncing things. Okay. This one has a sticker that says it's also called the Ohuhu 24 color colored pencil set. Although all the rest of the packaging says Marco. The website is Marco. I don't know. Okay, but this packaging. All right. Our 4th and final contestant is the Yoobi. One for you, one for me. That's cute, little toucan. The other 3, I actually did research on, you know, cheaper brand. Like, there's a lot of cheaper brands out there, but I did read some of the brand reviews so I can get a few that were at least decently rated to begin with, or ones that I'd heard of that people were asking about. This was a win. I went to Target so that I could go buy some cheap paper to test stuff on. This is the Target brand paper. It is sustainable forestry. It's medium weight drawing paper. It's got color pencils on it, so I'm assuming it's for color pencils. This I picked up to go with my cheaper materials, cheaper paper for cheaper materials. This was in the aisle. This was across the aisle from it. The packaging was cute. They're double-ended. So I have no idea what anyone thinks of these. We'll see. We'll see. Red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, oh, dark green, light blue, dark blue, 1 purple, 1 pink, black, brown, and white. Okay, so the basics. So I think I'm just going to test these colors from every brand. Okay, because I think that, I mean, Crayola has more than 50, I think. I'm not sure about the Yoobi. I think Sargent also comes in packages of more colors, but let's test similar colors because that's light pressing, and I'm gonna shift over to really dark test pressing so that you can see, you know, what it looks like when I'm pressing as hard as possible and see how well it blends into a gradient. This paper is really smooth. It has, I'll bring it close up. You see how it has no texture. It's pretty lightweight. It's pretty similar to like regular photocopy paper. And it has no texture. I am pressing really hard on these. This is FYI. That's like no pressure, and this is like grind us out. That one looks like it's got dark green and yellow waxes in there together. Like I blended it with green and yellow as opposed to it just being a light green pencil. Oh, I'm gonna get tired in a minute. My arm hurts, Mommy. Well, the colors are true to the barrel, so that's nice. I hate it when they're like super off base. So I was really excited about that until I got here. I spoke too soon. Dang, I'm like pressing all super hard and stuff, but that's like, I mean, the other ones, like you can tell the other ones are real close. I hate it when the label, I mean, the labels are never going to be the exact same, but like these are pretty good indicators of the color. This is not. See, I need another color in here. And yeah, maybe like if I bought a set with more colors, I'm sure there's like one in between. But if you're going to get me 12, maybe pick a different blue here. Whatever. That's not really an indication of quality of pencil, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. The purple is not really a great match to the barrel either. It broke. That's how you know how hard I've been trying to push the color from these pencils. I freaking broke the lid. And then with the white, I'm gonna lay down some. This is Chart Pack Super Black. This is one of my favorite black markers because look how beautiful that black is. I have a video where I compare all these light black, dark gray markers, and you can see which ones have like a really great undertone and which ones are really velvety black as opposed to like a really, really dark gray or a light black. And this is one of my favorite blacks. So to test the white, that is a super sad white. Okay, so the Marcos, red, orange, yellow. Here's a white. Here's a third purple, pink, peach, mustard yellow, some nice browns, a poppy red, not bad. We have actually all these skin tones and a gray. Okay, so that's a nice color range. The color payout is nice. Did I speak too soon again? It's like easy to lay down, but I'm not really getting... It's easier to get a solid color, but the color isn't very intense. Like it's very easy to get that level of color. The orange is really potent though. So this one, I feel like I used the same amount of pressure for all of them. This one, it might be that the quality is really different per color. I'm gonna say so far that these Marcos are creamier and easier to get color out of. That red one was actually kind of difficult, but these 5 are much easier than that initial red. Like it's much easier to get the full impact color. So you can see these colors easy to blend into a gradient. I'm not trying super hard to make sure it's a perfect gradient, just kind of, you know, even though it's just a cursory sort of blending, it is pretty easy to do with these Marcos that are pretty creamy. And the color matching is pretty good. Black is always an important color. I go through black and white pencils more than any other color pencil, to be honest. So I like making sure that those are of a good quality. That is a much nicer black than that one. That's a nice brown. That could be a really nice dark skin tone color too. And the white. Okay, I want to test this white again just to make sure that it wasn't reacting with wet marker. Nope, still pathetic. All right. And this is the Marco white. Better. And let's work with the Crayolas. Oh, these have names. Here's blue. And here's sky blue. Ooh, they have metallics. I'm going to put these in my metallics box for testing. I have a box and it's full of metallics only art supplies. It's got a lot of different paints and inks and gouaches and markers and brush pens and color pencils, all metallics. Let me know if you're interested in a video where I go over those. But yeah, they have a lot of neutrals in this set, which I like. You know, neutrals that can be skin tones, like warmer neutrals, and also dull neutrals, more like tree, khaki, olivey colors. Oh my. Oh man, oh man. Okay, so See, this is why you got to test more than one color, because these three, they were laying down so intense, so smooth compared to the others. And I was like, wow, this is great. But this green is sad and pathetic and really hard and waxy. And so that's why you got to test a bunch of colors. This is, again, back to nice. So maybe we just have a couple of anomalies. This is definitely similar, like the pressure I'm giving to get the most intense color is similar to the Marco, where the Sargent I was like pushing really hard. It looks smoother because I was pushing so hard to see if I could get more color out. But that's me pressing as hard as the Sargent, and look at that color intensity that you can get. Yes, I am going to be doing the alcohol test later on. I have my Q-tips and my rubbing alcohol at the ready. For those of you who saw like previous videos where I was messing around with color pencil, like the one with where I'm teaching you how to render tutus and crinolines, I did not like the baby oil. Did people recommend it or did I see it in a video? I forget, maybe both. But the baby oil, man, it just sticks to that paper and it doesn't evaporate and it just spreads. And I like the look of it afterwards, but I did not like how it treated the paper later. Oh, that's a nice black. Look at that. Boop, boop. Bing, bing. Look at that. No contest. That's the white. It's kind of wimpy. Why do I test the white on the black marker? Because that's when I use white color pencil the most. When I'm, let's say I'm rendering a black jacket and I want to put in the design details, I will most likely, more often than not, reach for a white color pencil. So I want to see how the white looks on the black marker. These are the Yoobis. Yoobi, Yoobi, Yoobi. These do not have colors or number names. So we're just gonna go by whatever's happening here. Okay, so the color looks nice, but it takes quite a bit of work to get the smooth. That yellow is nice and potent. My arm hurts. That's not random whining. I'm saying that it's hard to get the color to come out. Also, it is random whining because my arm hurts. The things I do for y'all. Okay, whatever. Anyway. Like Zoe, we don't care. Shut up. Just get back to coloring. But yeah, you will get intense colors. See, I think basically I'm pressing as hard as I did with the Sargents, but I'm getting more color payout for the same amount of how hard I'm working. And then the Crayolas and the Marcos, I worked a lot less. Okay, this purple is sad. That's the saddest purple, though. I feel like that should be a song. Or maybe a band title, name of a band. The saddest purple. The saddest purple. That's a good black. It's better than the Marco black. Brom, 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 brom. Yeah, this one is the super sad white, and then these are kind of all the same. Let's try rubbing alcohol. This is my little bag of Q-tips that I use for rubbing alcohol. I use it for when I paint with, y'all know I paint with marker refill ink sometimes. I have a whole video on that if that was news to you. Let's try these. So I'm just doing the top half just to see if there's really any difference. I think maybe I'm just not getting that, that intense blend that I normally get with professional grade color pencils, because there's not that much color, not as much color. I mean, it is blending it out some. Definitely more than it was before. Just for comparison, here's a red Caran d'Ache. Whew, that's some color. Dude. Okay, this paper does not want to come out of its pad, so beware. I don't know. I think maybe it's the paper. Because normally I use Bristol board for color pencil work, but, you know, I wanted to use the cheaper paper with the cheaper art supplies. I'm feeling like this is actually just a judgment on this paper that you can't really blend with rubbing alcohol. Not to fear, I also have my trusty Derwent blender and burnisher. Previous experiments have shown me that the burnisher doesn't do as much as the blender. Here's the burnisher. Let's work this into this magenta here. And again, I do see some blending. It's definitely blending. I'm pressing real hard, by the way. So the burnisher is bringing the colors together. Okay, you don't see the graininess, right? Let's try it on the black here. That actually looks better with this paper than the rubbing alcohol. And here's the blender. And the blender works really nice. It's really bringing that color and removing all that graininess. So yeah, we're blending that pink. That's blending out really nicely. I know other brands make these, but this is the one I have. They work pretty good. I know these are sold separately if you want to get a hold on these. I mean, honestly, you don't even have to blend the Sargents because I worked so hard to get the paper on the pigment onto the paper that I ended up blending and burnishing just with the sheer force of my arm. Assessment on this paper, rubbing alcohol, not so great. Blenders and burnishers, they work, and they work on all 4 brands fairly equally. Okay, that is my assessment on that. And then the next thing I want to do is test colors on top of each other, whether they will actually show up. I'm really liking the line work of the Crayolas. They stay sharp for a good period of time. Look at how nicely I can get like a hairy, furry line. Because that's what I do, is I do a lot of fur with color pencil. Even if I'm working with paints or markers, I love to get that fuzzy texture, especially of a shaggy fur, or get those curlies of a shearling. So yeah, I'm liking the line. My name is Zoe. Diareses over the E. Let's play with some Sargents. Hola! The thing about line work with color pencil that I'm looking for is I don't want the color pencil to dull down really fast. I want to have enough color intensity so that you can tell what color you're actually laying down. If it's too waxy or dull, then you can't really tell what color it is, and what is the point of that? You know, anyone who's really familiar with my channel knows that color matching is really important in my work, because I'm always, well, with client projects and, you know, design projects, it's all about matching back to a swatch. So these dull down faster than the Crayolas, but I mean, they don't dull down as fast as Prismacolors. Like, I love Prismacolors, but man, I feel like I spend half my time sharpening those things, and it makes me bananas. But it's waxy, but enough to work with. Green Acres is the place for me. Oh, that's nice. It feels nice. I like a nice hexagonal pencil. I say these dull down the fastest. You can still... They're pretty opaque though. Like, you can see a light blue on top of a purple, which is pretty good. Yoobi, 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 Yoobi. Look at that, yellow and purple become muted to create a muted purple. Dun, 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 dun. Are you watching my color theory series? Do you like them? The next one is going to be a deep dive in split complementary color schemes. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. I'm also pressing, look at this dent I'm getting in my hand. Do you see this dent that is happening because I've been pressing so hard with these pencils? Let's build some furry texture. This is pretty waxy, and I'm not enjoying how hard I have to stress my hand, and it gets dull really fast. Seriously, you guys, this paper does not want to come out of the binding, so just be careful with that with this paper. Maybe take the paper out before you start working on it. Crayola, the markers have this problem too, where the barrel and the color, they don't match very well. Most of these are okay, but this magenta is terrible. I keep confusing the purple and the blue. I like to think I have a good idea for color distinguishing, but when you want to blend two colors together to create a gradient, you want to start light in the overlap and build up and build up. These are complementary colors, orange and blue. So I should be able to get a nice true muted brown once I successfully blend and overlap these colors like I did when I did the paints, the mute painting video where I created neutrals by mixing complements together. That one is in my color lessons playlist if you want to go take a look at that. The nice thing about working with color pencils is a slow medium, and oh man, I get so irritated that it's so slow. But the nice thing about it being slow is like when I have to switch back and forth brushes with painting or markers, I have to work really fast and make sure things don't dry too fast. Color pencil doesn't dry because it's never wet, and so, you know, I can go and like go to the bathroom and go make a cup of tea and like come back and it's still the exact same. I gotta go back to blending all over again, right? The blending pencil does alter the color. Do you see that? The shade variation? Whoa, get all this like random scrap. You see that it does get warmer and yellower. The orange and the pure blue, it also gets a touch warmer. Not as different as the orange though. Isn't that funny? But it does an okay job blending. Let me know in the comments if there's something else you want to see in a future color pencil video, that like a method of testing that you want to see me do, because laying down color softly and as aggressively as possible, layering colors together, line work, and how well they blend and how well I can blend different colors together. Those are really the main purposes that I use color pencil for and would need them to perform well in these areas. I couldn't think of anything else where I really needed to test out their performance. But if I am forgetting a thing like, Zoe, you didn't check to see if they do polka dots really well, then I will tell you, I never do polka dots with color pencil. And you're like, never, ever, ever, ever? And I'm like, never, ever, 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 ever. Okay, here's why. I'll show you. Let's pick a dark Crayola that we already know shows up really well. The purple, okay? You see how hard, how loud? Okay, dots, right? What I actually do, if I want to do that, I will use a watercolor pencil, dip the pencil in water, and just, you see how lightly I'm tapping? I'm not making any noise because I don't need to, because it's wet, it's activated, I can just gently plop down the polka dots. When they dry, they're gonna look like the color pencil. Okay, just make sure that when you do this, it's the last step and you're not going to be putting any water or rubbing alcohol or any of those kinds of agents on top, that this is literally the last step. Other than that, this is the best, easiest way to do polka dots. This is a Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencil. I like these. If you guys want more videos with watercolor pencil or more info on them, drop me a comment, let me know. Are harder to blend. This is taking a really long time. When you have lots of pigment, you can control it very easily. But when you don't, it's like you push a little bit too hard to get more pigment to come out, and then you end up with these dark streaks. So let's try this blender. So that looks pretty good, which at this point is really just like, you know, praising the blender. Not really the pencil, but the blender does, it like distributes the color, and now overall it's more faded than this. This, because there's enough pigment to move around, it is lighter, but it doesn't look faded. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, considering the green in the original lineup was kind of one of the weaker colors with the Marcos, but, and actually the red wasn't that great of a color for it either. Whoops. But they make a nice gradient. Okay, I think that that one is the smoothest and easiest one out of the three so far. Pink, which was one of its strongest color. The Sargent pink was nice. So these react kind of like the Yoobis, where again, when you have more pigment, you have more control. You can use it feather light. You can control it by how much pressure you use. But when the pigment is not that strong, you kind of try to force it, and forcing it never really helps, ever. This is the blender pencil again. Last thoughts. Am I replacing any of my Prismas, my Polychromos, my Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils with these? No, I am not. Would I recommend any of these brands to someone just getting started with color pencils? Yes, I definitely would. I would recommend the Crayolas first. They were one of the cheapest, and they had the best color payout out of the four. They're the creamiest. They're one of the two brands that are the easiest to blend, and you can get some nice line work, and you can overlap colors on top of each other. Okay, and the Marcos I think are my second favorite. Also creamy, also better color payout on most of these colors. This red is really sad. Look how rich that brown is. The Yoobis and the Sargents, they're similar. They have weaker color payout, and I'm forced to try harder to get more color out, and That's annoying. I already find coloring large areas with color pencil. I generally find it annoying and try to do it as little as possible. And I largely use color pencil for texture work. But those of you who are interested in doing more color pencil work, I'm assuming you're going to find it even more annoying because you're going to be like trying to color these large areas with, minimal color payout. So I would not recommend these two. I would recommend these two. I would not recommend any of these whites. Okay, if you are going to splurge on a single color, because you can get, professional quality color pencils, like just the single pencil at the art store. So I would recommend getting a nice white. I have found Prismacolor to have an excellent creamy white, and they'll do you better if you're someone like me who likes to put in details on top of black or darker colors with a white color pencil. Okay, so get a set of Crayolas or the Marcos, and then just like get one nice expensive white pencil. Just because a pencil is expensive though doesn't mean that the color is going to be perfect. Like the Polychromos white is very weak. Okay, if you want a video comparing white media, let me know in the comments. But yeah, this paper I have found is pretty good with the color pencil, except do not use the rubbing alcohol on this paper. Just they don't like each other. They are not friends. Hit the thumbs up button if you found this video amusing or helpful. Please drop me all your questions and comments below. And I know I asked y'all like 17 questions throughout the course of this video. So if you remember, drop me answers to those questions in the comment section below too. Share, subscribe, practice. Hashtag always be practicing. Hashtag practice, not magic. And I will see you in the next video.